We do have a guest that is definitely not on his first victory. That is Fabiano Caruana. Fabiano, congratulations with the black pieces, a big important result. How do you feel and how did you strategize this game?
Well, I played a very random line, which I knew a little bit. I mean, I didn't really know much. I didn't know how to prepare this opening because Alshon isn't really an e4 player, but he was playing in this tournament, so I figured he has some idea in mind. But he had no games in this line, so I just decided to play it without...
Were you trying to get a fighting game out of the opening?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very risky opening choice, and I didn't know what to do after bishop g3. I knew it was some sort of line, I just didn't know, like, I thought knight f6 he'll take and play e5 and get a slightly better position.
Exactly, yeah.
And I didn't really feel like going for something which he knows, where it's a tiny bit better for white. So I decided to get creative, which was certainly not good.
Not good, okay.
I mean, I don't imagine that playing bishop e7, bishop d7 is very good for black, followed by e5, but then he shocked me. I mean, bishop g4, I was...
and I think this one was the...
I mean, I thought white is slightly better with some kind of castle short or something. Knight d5, yeah, something along those lines. But black has a solid position. And then bishop g4, it nearly loses on the spot, because after take h5, only move is queen h3. Mm-hmm. And if g5, only move is f3, not to lose the queen. Mm-hmm.
Of course, lose the queen, not the bishop.
Well, I guess you can play
nice.
bishop h4 if you really want to.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to lose material, f3 is... So it's... I understood he was trying to trade the bishops at any cost, but to put the queen on h3 and take so much time doing so, right. It felt like a very, very risky and incorrect choice. And then I thought it was completely unclear. Later on, I mean, it was a very complicated position.
How did you come up with this plan, bishop g5, rook to h6?
Well, bishop g5 is to stop long castle. It's pretty simple. His king on the king side is a little bit vulnerable because the queen is there. All his pieces are sort of crowded around together, and he can't move the queen. If he would get castle long, king b1, I think he would have a fine position.
King to b1, yeah.
He could later play bishop f2 and g3, and with the king on g1, you never want to play g3. So I was happy to get the king there.
And what about rook to h6? What was the idea behind it?
Okay, if we go back a move and say I play knight f6 instead, then f4. And I wasn't sure about this. I saw various moves here, like knight h7, some crazy stuff, fg5, knight g5, queen g4, hg, queen g3. I didn't want to allow this because it felt a bit easier to play for white. He plays rook d1 and he gets all the files. Although maybe it's also kind of unclear. So f4 I just didn't want to allow. So rook h6 is forcing the bishop back. And now he no longer achieves f4 so easily. It's still one of his main ideas to get f4, even at the cost of a pawn sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I think what we did was normal. Rook d1, queen c7, knight c1. a3, very questionable, I thought.
I think that was what the engine was saying as well.
So instead of a3, I was thinking, like knight 1, e2. And then I'll probably play either knight e7 or king g8, some move like that. Let's say king g8, and he can play a3. It's exactly the same plan, but now I didn't have his knight a5 resource. Let's say I play like knight e7. But here he just has b3.
b3, and the knight on c3 is protected.
So let's say knight e7, rook d3, some kind of rook d8, rook f, like this type of position. It just felt equal to me.
Yeah.
I didn't see what I'm doing. I also didn't see what he's doing. I would be a bit more comfortable with black because I really think white has like no ideas here. You can't move the knight from c3, you can't move the knight from e2, and your rooks are very nice, but also...
And it's pretty difficult to get the queen back into play as well.
Well, yeah, like the only way is f4 at some point, which comes at the cost of a pawn. So it's not easy at all, but still, black has to find some sort of idea here.
Yeah.
So a3 I thought was very, very slow, and I took the chance to play knight a5. Yeah, and here I thought like knight b4 is a huge mistake.
Yeah.
I thought like f4 was very unclear, ef4. And yeah, bishop b4, knight e3, so queen f5. And I was wondering about this rook h5 here. Knight f4, g6, and I thought queen g6. And if fg, then knight e6 and knight c7.
Yeah. This one seems to be good.
So I wasn't sure rook h5 or rook g6. But I decided I'll take that choice because I'm no longer risking. And I'll just, like let's say knight f4, take. And if knight b2, then queen d6. Which I guess is still kind of better for black, but I mean, I wasn't worried, you know, it's clear that I'm the only one pressing here, but I still thought the position was quite unclear. And after this knight c4, knight b4. I wasn't sure queen c8 or knight b2. I mean,
Queen c8, I think, was the right decision to get into this.
yeah, it looked very practical. But then I messed it up later. I thought, I already thought the game was over.
Mm-hmm. At what point?
And then yeah, I just thought like after a5, because after a5, if he doesn't play knight a2, which I thought was a good try.
Yep.
That let's say he plays knight d5. The problem for him is like take, knight e3. He has to take, or he loses an exchange. King h1, rook c2, rook a5, and he's getting mated. Yeah, like rook g6. There's still rook a8, king e7, knight c3. But I think that even if I play like king d7 here or something,
Yeah.
knight d5, bishop d4,
move, yeah.
he's just getting mated slowly. So this is what I thought might happen, but instead he went for this very nice exchange stack. I mean, it's a good practical chance.
Probably the only chance
Yeah.
that he has.
I don't know, like, yeah, I definitely messed it up, but I wasn't sure how to play this. I mean, and then bishop d8, it's like an extraordinary opportunity. No, not here, but a move before, instead of rook d3. We were talking about this after the game. The difference is that if b5 now, bishop f6, gf, knight d5, he attacks the bishop, so there's no rook c2.
Yeah.
It's not about knight e7 so much, but the bishop is also attacked. So if he had done this, I mean, I'm still better, but really messed it up.
Not that easy after bishop to d8.
Yeah. So this was very sloppy to allow this, but he did it the move later when it was very, where it was just a move too late.
Fabi, still 7 rounds to go, but you're extending your lead at the top. How are you feeling about your chances right now, or are you even thinking about that championship?
No, well, how can I play it without thinking about it? I mean, I'm quite happy so far. It's been going well. I can't say that my games are brilliant, but still, the results are very good. I was even happy with like my game yesterday, not yesterday, but the day before against Wesley, because I didn't have many ambitions. But still, I posed him some serious issues, I thought, and he was very close to getting in trouble. So it felt like even if I'm not getting anything out of the opening, I'm still able to pose my opponent some problems, which is a good sign. And other players are a little bit uneven so far, but we'll see. It's still a long way to go.
Guys, join the conversation.
Yeah, I have a question to Fabi. I mean, Fabiano, you're local here. You know, we know that you live not far away from the club. And these days, especially that US championships are happening, are you recognized more often by people on the streets? And like, how is your life these days?
Well, I got recognized, but I can't say it's because of me. I think it's more because of Hans. I mean, I get stopped often and asked about beats. It happens more often than I'd like to admit. But yeah, it seems like chess is pretty popular these days. Sometimes people notice me because I'm, I guess, a local player. But more often than not, it's it's about the current ongoing situation.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So.
Yeah. Quick question for you, Fabi. In this U.S. championships, we're seeing a lot of draws, very, very, very tough, hard to win games, and then suddenly it's like, you know, the sky's open and you're winning game after game. How does that happen? What makes sudden a rampage of victories when everybody's having a hard slog?
Well, I think a lot of it is circumstance. You know, some tournaments, even if you're not playing poorly, you just don't get a chance. Some tournaments, everyone's giving things to you. So it's just important to get those victories at the right moment, those opportunities at the right moment. But yeah, chess is very much like that, that sometimes you go a long period without any opportunities, with your opponents playing brilliantly and not giving you any chances. And sometimes very strong players collapse for unexpected reasons. So that's just the way chess is. It balances out in the end, but that can explain the current, you know, hot streaks that people have or collapses that people have. It's not always in your hands. I mean, you try to control it as much as you can, but very often, I mean, you still need help from your opponent to win games. If your opponents never make mistakes, then you'll never win a game. Yeah. So it's that's just how it is.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Fabi, and very good luck. Yes, absolutely. Good luck. Turning our attention to the game of